Hi guys, welcome to my channel Infinite Wish. So today I'm just going to do a bonus part video of Venus in the 12th house synastry. So let's just get right into it. So the house person feels seen by the Venus, and what I mean by this, it almost makes the 12th house person want to not be so private anymore. I feel like the planet is almost pulling that energy out of the house person. And what I mean by this is because it's the 12th house, and if you guys watch my other videos, I did break down what the 12th house represents. The 12th house could start evaluating how they are being seen in the world, how they're showing up, and they could start evaluating their personal relationships. Basically, they could do a whole 360 when it comes to who they allow into their personal life, who they allow, to get to know, to allow people to get to know them. So that's what I will say about that part. And Venus wants to be seen by the 12th house. I don't know what it is, but I do believe that the planet really likes the attention and likes being seen also by the 12th house, but almost in a selfish way, like almost in a kind of look at me type of way. It's a different kind of feeling of how the 12th house is being seen by the planet person. It's almost like the 12th house wants to get out of the shadows, per se. I'm not saying that the 12th house is in the shadows, but I guess that's just the best way I can describe it. Maybe the 12th house used to be outgoing before, and now after meeting the planet, can try to get back to that person that they were previously, or maybe if they were never like that, they want to be seen by other people. But there's a lot of fear that surrounds the 12th house person. The 12th house person just feels really fearful in a different way that the planet person could feel. But I would say that there's a lot of fear surrounding the 12th house person for whatever reason. And sometimes this can do with trauma, dreams, only because it is in the 12th house. So the 12th house could also receive a lot of messages about the planet person, maybe things that the planet wishes that they could tell the 12th house. Maybe those are revealed in the dream, or even if the planet is being really shady, that can also be revealed to the 12th house person by dreams. And Venus can be really secretive also, in a different way that the 12th house person is being very secretive. The 12th house person could appear to be very secretive and mysterious, but in a way that they may not want to let the planet person in. But they do at the same time. So it's a very conflicting, because the 12th house person also doesn't know what they're feeling towards the planet person. They just know that they have these feelings. Maybe they wouldn't even call these feelings, but there's just something about the planet person that the 12th house person just can't let go. And I want to say that the 12th house person can also miss the planet person, especially if they stop communication. They can both feel this way. It's like they're almost yearning for each other in a spiritual way, and something, it doesn't make sense in the 3D, why do I feel like this towards this person? Even if they may not even be super attracted to the person, there's a different type of attraction between 12th house and planet. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this could just be the ideal person, and maybe they both don't realize it. So that's why there's just so much confusion towards feelings and attraction and fear. Both of them may not want to let each other too close, but as I said, the Venus is going to be more open to the 12th house person, because there is something that the planet person wants from the 12th house. So that's why I would say the 12th house person has to be really careful, because planet can be approaching 12th house for selfish reasons. Like, for example, if the 12th house person is big on social media, or there's just something about the 12th house person that the planet person is really, really interested in a more gainful way. So I would just be a little bit cautious of that. And the planet person, wants the 12th house person just to be super open to them, tell them everything, while the planet person may hold back a lot. And let's talk about how secretive the planet person can be. So the planet person can be secretive in a way that they could be communicating with other people, may not even let the 12th house person know who they really are. It's more so of ego, mask. I feel like the planet person really puts on a mask for the 12th house person, or in general, just very performative. And the 12th house person may not be like this. The 12th house person may be more looking for a real connection, and there could be a little bit more substance to the 12th house person, which is why the planet person is really drawn to the 12th house person. But I would say that the planet person is drawn to the 12th house person for a couple different reasons. And I don't want to say that the planet person views the 12th house person as a weak individual, but they could be approaching the 12th house person in that way too. They may just look at the 12th house person as an isolated individual in comparison to them. But the problem is they don't know the full story of the 12th house person, because the 12th house person could be really big on social media, or could be really important at work. So there's a lot of misconceptions that the planet person can have towards the 12th house. And planet person, what they may be into could be very different from what the 12th house person is into, but it's almost like the 12th house person likes those characteristics of the planet person and wants that, and vice versa. Planet may also feel like that as well. And planet may be very superficial, because it is Venus, not in a bad way, but they could be really operating under their mask. So that's what I'll say about that. And like I said, I do want to emphasize that the first meeting is really important. So for example, if you guys go on a date, out, that could be the continuing theme. But also that can kind of stall the true intentions of the planet person, so they won't be revealed as quickly, just because if you guys are going on dates, because of the environment, it could be, because there's a lot of people around, you know what I mean? Like, versus meeting someone one-on-one, like going for a walk in the park. So yes. And if you do hook up on the first night, if planet and 12th house do end up hooking up on the first night, unfortunately that might be how the rest of the relationship plays out, because maybe both of them are looking for something casual, but then eventually the deep feelings start to come out, and it's almost like they don't know where to go from here. They don't know what they're looking at anymore. How do you switch from being solely hookup to dating, and how do you even have that conversation? So that's why I say there could be a lot of breaking up and getting back together, a lot of mirroring, victim blaming, because both individuals can have feelings at different times, but then one person may say something that throws the other person off, and then they're like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. But for some reason, they keep reaching out to each other. I don't know, hoping that it could be something more, but it could be a lot of almost dead air. Yeah. So my advice is, if you see the synastry aspect, and you have this with someone, you have to be really careful. So, try to listen to, especially if one person's not into astrology, but another person is, kind of listen to what the other individual is looking for, because planet will almost tell their truths and a lie. So I feel like planet has a lot of truths and lies mixed in. They'll almost say the truth and then they'll say the lie straight after. So the first thing that they say could be the truth, but you just have to see how this plays out. 12th house person does lie as well. But unfortunately, their lies could just be about themselves, their family, what they're going through. To save face, they don't want to let the planet person in. And the 12th house and planet person, they look really, really good together. When you do see them, you'd be like, okay, I see why you guys are together. Like, you could just feel that energy. It's a little bit different from 8th house. It's just different. It's almost like these two, when you see these two individuals, you almost look at them and say they are in their own little world. You almost don't want to interrupt them. Like, you know what I mean? They can look really similar, do similar, react in a similar way. Like, this is a fantasy relationship. And the thing about fantasy and reality, it could be really disappointing, especially if you have an idea of how this person, if you have an idea of how you want this person to show up and they don't, it can be really, really disappointing. But you still hope that they would show up in that way. So yeah. And my advice is, be honest from the beginning what you are looking for in this, because this, I'm going to say right now, this is going to turn into deep feelings. I don't know who feels it first. It's kind of hard to say. I'm just going to say 12th house person knows a little bit more than planet, because planet could be more so masking more. I'm not saying the 12th house person doesn't mask, but it's really, really different. So yeah, I would just be really careful of future faking and love bombing, because you really don't know where you stand with this person. And unfortunately, if Venus stops reaching out, 12th house person you may not even speak again. But you guys could both yearn for each other in such a strange way. And it's like you feel like you really know this person without really knowing this person, if you get what I mean. It's like their energy even without even knowing who their friends are. And I feel like, unfortunately, Venus doesn't really reveal a lot of things about themselves. Personally, they'll only reveal things about themselves in a superficial way. Especially obviously if you guys follow each other on social media, so it's a little bit different. 12th house person could be a little bit more deeper than the planet person. So that's what I'll say about that. And I feel like 12th house person really, on a deep level, would really like for this to work in some type of way. I feel like planet person, you just don't really know what planet person's thinking. But then also, you guys just don't know where you stand with each other, both of you guys. So it's just a very watered down attraction. and it can start off really, really hot. And yeah, thanks for watching. This is Infinite Wish.